None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick and Chuan for being a member of the channel. If you guys want to help us out as well, obviously you can join for just £1 a month with some other exclusive perks by clicking the join button down below. A massive thank you to Lightfire, Liam, Henry and Geordie for subscribing to the channel. If you guys want to be featured in these little clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 6 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we're here back ready for the French Grand Prix. Obviously if you missed out on the video that went live earlier on from Canada, definitely would recommend going back and checking that one out. We're making good progress so far in the early stages of this season as we head towards France. We got plenty of exciting stuff in the works as well. Hopefully all the upgrades can go on the car.
To come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Love that, F1 2021. Once again, more part failures.
Looks like our driver has an issue. We need you to step in here.
So Lundgaard is feeling extra motivated today and wants to spend a few more hours training. Where should we focus our efforts? Simulator time, so +7 racecraft, or gym, +7 experience. I think we'll go with the gym.
Decision, but you handled it well. Thanks.
Yeah, he needs to go to the gym more. Does Lundgaard. Now, we got 1.33 million in the bank at the moment. Can we do any more upgrades to the team? I think we do need to try and have a look at some more quality control upgrades for all of the departments there, and we need to get some durability upgrades on the car as well. We have got a lot still in progress at the moment. You can see still 3 more upgrades waiting to go on the car, but let's have a look then at durability. So the gearbox improved materials upgrade has come in, so we can do a turbo and ICE improvement as well. So we're going to probably roll with both of those. A 40% failure chance, though, isn't too great. And obviously we can't do the second one because we've reached department capacity as well. We'll try and get another chassis upgrade on the car as well. Can we actually squeeze one more in? Yes, we can. That'll be ready before Silverstone as well there. So got plenty of upgrades going on the car at the moment. Still 5 more upgrades in the works. In terms of the progress history, though, Alfa Romeo again bringing more upgrades over the last couple of weekends. AlphaTauri and Alpine just further escaping away again, but the top group are starting to bunch up a little bit more, so I think we're still making good progress. Let's head then. Well, let's quickly see if all the last upgrades do go on the car as well before we head to the French Grand Prix. There we go, a chassis equipment upgrade and a durability upgrade as well. Let's head to Circuit Paul Ricard. Heading back to Circuit Paul Ricard then this weekend after 3 very tight, twisty technical tracks where the walls are right up to the circuit. It feels weird to go back to a venue that is a bit more open once more here on F1 2021. But, I mean, 2 11th place finishes in a row. Can we go one better finally this weekend and score some points? End of our track acclimatization lap. Mainly purples, but a few greens and a red. It's going to be not enough.
Good. Now let's try for purple.
Coming to the end of our tyre run, though, we're going to be just under the purple score. Just can't quite scrape it. Coming to the end of our qualifying race practice runs, even sorry, I should say. We have actually swapped out the ICE as we head into this weekend as well, of course. Obviously, last time around it was pretty worn out by the end of the Canadian Grand Prix. And Paul Ricard, yeah, another very power-orientated circuit as well. But yeah, this race sim run, though, every lap we've been 1.5 seconds up by the end of it, so we've smashed this one out of the park, and that's going to be another purple score.
You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
So that's pretty much all the objectives done for practice. Let's dive into qualifying, where hopefully we can get back into Q2. So here we are then, qualifying day at Circuit Paul Ricard, and rain clouds are looming around the circuit. The chance of rain is just going up and up as the session goes on here, so I think every single qualifying run is got to be done early on in the session. But like I said, we need to try and see if we can sneak back through into Q2 this weekend. Need to see if we got some pace over the Alfa Romeos. That's not the line through turn 1. But yeah, no, we're in a bit of a development war with them at the moment as we both try and close up to the midfield and leave Haas and Williams behind. Very, very intense between us, but a good battle that brings out some friendly competition. There is the benchmark then. Kimi Räikkönen sets our 1:29.2 at the end of his first run. That's the time we've got to try and beat. Bit of a slip up as we head in through Sector 3 there as Perez and Hamilton trade fastest times. It's not been the best lap in the world. There's certainly a lot of time to be found. Out of the final corner though, back down towards the start-finish line. It's going to be a 29:01 30.0. So about a second away from what we need, but most of that is certainly on the table at the very least. Got a nice solid track space out ready for us on our second run. But we're down to P21 at the moment, only quicker than Latifi as we head through the final corner. Try and set ourselves up for a good lap here in qualifying. You know, we really want to try and get this run done now, otherwise we're going to have no sets of tyres ready for Q2. So fingers crossed we can get it all nicely hooked up down towards turn 1. Want to use all the curb all the way through, both on entry, halfway through and on exit. And you can see instantly it's about a couple of tenths found through the first couple of corners by keeping it nice and tidy. Chuck it into turn 3, rotate the car through 4, and then try and get the car swung back over through turn 5. The camber works for you, but it's right at the very last moment as we head out towards the Mistral straight. Not the best run in the world. That's going to cost us about half a tenth as we head down the straightaway. Still 3.5 tenths up though as we head in towards the chicane here. We got this really well done last time round. Use the curbing on the outside, just open up the track as best as possible there, chuck it over that first curb and then on the exit curb as well. You want to take as much as that as you can there. Try and get the power down as early as possible because it will carry you all the way up in through turn 10. Completely pinned, not a challenge at all in a modern day Formula 1 car. And then you just downshift back through the gears through this next corner there. Really just slowly rotate the front end through and then easy on the throttle again on the exit. Don't want to unsettle the rear of the car as you try to lean on that curb. Avoid that curb through turn 13. You can see we're now 3/4 of a second up as we head in towards the final couple of corners of the lap here. So this has been a much, much better run than our first one. Out of the final turn, it is going to be about a 9/10 improvement as we head out of the final corner. That's exactly what we need. It's going to be a 1:29.1 and 15th ahead of both Alfa Romeos, but we'll probably have to go for another run right at the very end. Didn't really want to have to come out for a third run in this session, but it's just not worth the risk. We may as well try and use the extra set to get into Q2 than end up P17, P18 at the end of Q1 here. Around the final corner, we've got the Haas cars just in front of us as well. Hopefully they won't hold us up too much. Sorry, no, it's both the Alfa Romeos even, I should say, so they definitely won't hold us up too much in this final run. But obviously if they don't go any quicker than us, we can probably bail out of the lap at the very end of it there. Through turn 1, turn 2, again just a little bit wide on the X down, and that's a 10th down instantly on this third run. Chuck the car over the curbs. Oh, that was a lot of curb through turn 4. That was very, very cheeky there, but we didn't gain anything from it. Find a bit of time through the next couple of corners. Really try and lean on the curbing as best as possible. Out into the Mistral straight, we are up again, but only by fractions at this stage of the lap. We're still only fractionally up as we head in through Sector 3, but Räikkönen and Giovinazzi in front of us are definitely going to slow us down. We've got yellow flags out. Someone's had issues. So that's going to be the end of all of our runs. Who on earth has got problems here? Let's just wait and see. Nothing yet. We can't overtake, of course, because that would be an instant penalty. Not too sure who's got issues, but that's going to ruin everyone's lap, so we do sneak through into Q2 at least. So rather annoyingly then for ourselves, we had to go out and use that last set of tyres, but we didn't even get a chance to improve the lap time there. But we do go through alongside Kimi Räikkönen into Q2, both Haas, both Williams, and our teammate as well as Giovinazzi out in Q1. Only a 10th away from the likes of Tsunoda and the Alpines here, but still, let's just go out for one lap in Q2 and see if we can find ourselves any higher than P16. So Räikkönen is up in P13 then, at this stage of the session, so maybe there is a chance to try and get ahead of Ocon and Tsunoda if they have messed up their laps here. Down towards start-finish line once again. Probably isn't going to be as good as our Q1 run. That lap felt pretty hooked up in the end, but we'll wait and see as to what we can do. Huge wash of understeer through turn 1, horrible run through turn 2. Yeah, this lap is definitely pretty much already a write-off, but we'll keep at it. Yeah, 6 tenths off Fernando Alonso as we come towards the end of Sector 2. I think, yeah, this one is definitely got P16 written all over it. But again, it's another Q2 appearance. Lines like that, we probably shouldn't have appeared. Through the final corner, though, down towards start-finish line. Where is it going to be for the grid? Is it P16? I'm not a betting man, but that's where my money would be. It is a 29.8 in the end, so not too disappointing. But yeah, that has P16 written all over it. Oh, it's P16 by a long old way there in the end as well. Raikkonen a 28.8 in the end. I feel like he's going to be our main championship rival over the course of this season there. But Lance Stroll, both Alpines and Yuki Tsunoda all out in Q2 alongside us. Bottas gets through into Q3 on a set of mediums as well, though, so a good job done by him. But McLaren again applying the pressure to Mercedes this weekend. Red Bull and Ferrari seem to have a good battle going on as well. But let's dive in then here. Round 6 of the year for the French Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. The Circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's start with Aston Martin. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, Lando Norris and Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel, Gasly and Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Raikkonen, Yuki Tsunoda and Ocon. Mr. Monaco, Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Antonio Giovinazzi and Christian Lundgaard. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Place your bets then, people. How few corners are we going to stay ahead of Sergio Perez at the start of this Grand Prix? But we're ready here at Circuit Paul Ricard. The best strategy to go with actually here is a hard to medium if F1 2020 is to be believed. So we should be able to do about 15 laps on the hards and then 12 on the mediums to get us through to the end of the Grand Prix. Let's wait and see whether that all does come to fruition when all is said and done. We've had quite a few safety cars in recent races, which have changed up the order a little bit, obviously, especially back at Baku. But a nice sunny Grand Prix. Gets a bit overcast towards the end. We won't worry all too much about that. Getting ready then on the grid. Round 6 of the year from Circuit Paul Ricard. Getting ready then, waiting on those 5 red lights. We've got Perez alongside us on the softs. It's not going to be long before he gets around us. 5 red lights. And it's the lights out, and away we go as we head down towards turn 1. If your guess was, Perez and Ocon already clearly not the best of mates as we head down in towards. Thanks, Perez. I guess if your bet was 1 corner, you'd be wrong. It was none to be able to hold on ahead of Sergio there. Lundgaard already trying to look past us as well. Down in towards turn 4. No, don't want to be there with Perez. Completely locked at the rears there. No idea how we held on to that one, so it was a couple of scary moments at the start of this Grand Prix. Back around the outside, though, of our teammate Tsunoda, currently sat in P11. Another man still yet to score this season, but yeah, not the best start in the world. Only losing the 1 place, but it was certainly 1 place I didn't want to lose at the start of this Grand Prix there. Perez still just a little way up the road as we head through the chicane for the first time. I think we've just got to settle down into rhythm. Remember, we're on the hards early on. We've got to stay in the DRS of the cars around us and play the long game. Coming through the final couple of corners of lap 1. Like I said, it's absolutely critical that we stay in the DRS of the guys in front there. Bottas fastest at the end of lap 1, but we are still only 6 cents back behind Sergio, who's getting held up a treat by the likes of Ocon. I gave Ocon all the credit there. It's actually Kimi Räikkönen still doing all the parking of buses early on in this Grand Prix, but we're still struggling for front-end grip here. The hard's not quite wearing in as well as I'd like. A lot of guys trading fastest lap at the end of lap 2, but it is Ricciardo who sets it for now. Surely Sergio's got to be able to get around these guys sooner rather than later in this Grand Prix, although now it looks like Ocon might try and apply some more pressure to Kimi, neither of which helps out the Red Bull man, who definitely needs to be scoring some points today. Oh, here goes Ocon up the inside of Kimi Räikkönen in towards the chicane, and Perez out of nowhere gets past the Alpines, so it all kicks off down the first half of the Mistral straight there, and Ocon looking from going to try and make a move to losing the place out to Sergio Perez here. I'm not really too sure what we should do at this stage of the Grand Prix. Don't want to get too involved in these battles as we almost go into the back of Ocon through turn 10. But surely now, yeah, Perez is going to have a look past Räikkönen next time through. Oh, Perez going for it down in towards turn 1, but nothing going there for the Mexican. Surely now we're about to watch Sergio Perez get the run on Räikkönen out onto the back straight, if he was able to look for it down in towards turn 1. Surely now he's going to be able to have a look for something as we head once more back out onto the Mistral straight there. Perez tucked into the rear wing of the Alfa Romeo. He's actually looking to the outside as we head in towards the next corner. They're completely barged off the circuit is Sergio Perez, but that doesn't stop him from completing the move. A bit of P13 of this Grand Prix there, but Räikkönen being super aggressive. All the AI seem to be early on in F1 2021. We, though, still looking at the back of the Frenchman. Oh, the engine warning lights come on again. What other part is now worn? It is the control electronics now as we get a few more cars into the pits. So we need to swap that out, ready for next weekend. Now we've got to avoid the curbs a bit more. That's the key. If you get control electronics, it's because you're using too much curb. Oh, and as soon as Perez has got past us all, he does now dive into the pit lane at the end of lap 6. I'm sure we're going to see quite a few other cars into the pits as well. So it's going to really elevate Räikkönen and Ocon and myself up the order. Remember, this is now effectively a net race with these guys. We have only got to make one pit stop here, and they've all got to make another one. So we're actually in pretty good stead early on. Ocon surely now. Yeah, there we go. Ocon has a look at the inside of Kimi Räikkönen down at the Mistral straight there. But Räikkönen, again, defence is really, really aggressively ahead of Esteban. We get the nose at the inside on the exit of the corner there and put the power down. So no idea why Ocon can't seem to pull off the move on Kimi Räikkönen, but it elevates us up into 6th place now of this race, and surely, yeah, we're not going to take any prisoners from Kimi Räikkönen. If we get a run on him, we're going straight past him if possible. Hamilton behind, so it's a 31-3 as we head on to lap 8 there, as we get a nice kicker wheel spin at the first couple of corners. It's been an action-packed start to this French Grand Prix. Can we get a little bit more action and get a run on Kimi Räikkönen heading through turn 5? Really just trying to get the nose pointed through. The AI seem to be able to get out of here so much better than I ever can as well, though, as we head a little bit wide out onto the Mistral straight, but we certainly didn't gain anything from that. Using all the battery, all the DRS as well. Räikkönen, is he going to go defensive? He's going to try to a little bit, but we do get up the inside. Slam the door on him through the corner, and that's us now up to P5 of the Grand Prix there. This has been a dreamy start, but now for the first time today we've got no DRS.
4.9 seconds.
And Sonoda, yeah, 5 seconds up the road either. Doesn't look like we're going to get any anytime soon. No idea what's happened to Verstappen in this Grand Prix then, to be that far behind the rest of the midfield runners there. But yeah, clearly Verstappen and one of the McLarens way out of shape in this Grand Prix. So this could be a big opportunity for us to potentially get the car towards the points. Oh, there we go. Bottas is the first of the front runners to blink as well into the pits. So now one of the Aston Martins leads the way.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Right, so this has worked out beautifully for us. Then we get a free pit stop in this Grand Prix. And we're going to have to go mediums now to the end of this race. Not too sure why we've had a safety car. No one's had any major issues. But it is going to definitely shake up the order a lot. Bottas must feel a bit gutted with that because he was dominating this race. Very, very intrigued to see what all the two stoppers are going to do. Whether they're just going to pit now and try and get to the flag, on a set of hards. Of course, for us, we have to go on to medium, so it is going to be a tight stretch to the end of this Grand Prix, but it's a stretch that we can probably make work. Raikkonen's actually stayed out here, so Hamilton's going to come in right behind us, as well as, Bottas I think is going to get held up quite dramatically in the pit lane. Lundgaard's in as well, of course, everyone pretty much diving into the pit lane, so Kimi Raikkonen is going to lead the Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo. Who would have said that? Heading into the race, that's an awfully tight turning circle from the car as well. 3 seconds stop though, we stay out ahead. So we've jumped Valtteri Bottas in the pit lane here, who's gone onto softs. What on earth are Mercedes doing? We're into P5 of the Grand Prix out of nowhere. This has been a mega reshuffle in this French Grand Prix, and now not only does the chance of points become a possibility, big points as well. So in the craziest turn of events of the season so far, Kimi Raikkonen is going to lead the way once more after this safety car. Lance Stroll P2, Alonso 3rd, Tsunoda 4th, and myself 5th. If you predicted that top 5 before the start of the Grand Prix, fair play to you. Let me know the lottery numbers coming up this weekend there. But we got Bottas just behind. Mick Schumacher as well has got a massive opportunity for Haas to score their first points of the year as well. So no one wants to be the one to make a mistake of this restart here. Raikkonen is going to lead us away though. The very experienced head of Kimi Raikkonen heads out the final corner. We almost wallop Tsunoda through the final turn there as we try and put the power down. Not the best restart in the world. We need to look after this rubber, but it has kept it in one piece. No idea what position Lundgaard's in as well there, but maybe he's looking towards the points as well. Bottas, not too worried if he gets back past us soon, which he's already looking to try and do, because of course he's going to have to pit again by the end of this Grand Prix, and he didn't even have the bravery to go for it into there. Right, here comes Bottas then in this Grand Prix again. Like I said, he's going to have to pit again, so I'm not too worried if he does get the jump on us, as long as he doesn't do something stupid like that. Rides the curbs, almost takes me out. But now the Mercedes will sneak by. Hopefully we can use him for some DRS later on.
Right, we have a very worn-out MG UK. Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire.
That is not the message we want to hear at this stage of the Grand Prix. The MG UK only on 55% wear, but do not, for the second time this year, Codys, get me in a good points-paying position and snatch it away from us. Bottas has now got past Tsunoda in this Grand Prix, and we might now be able to try and threaten the AlphaTauri driver as well here as we head down the Mistral straight once more. Tsunoda does go defensive on us. Can we have a look to the outside into the braking zone? Oh, Tsunoda very early on the brakes there, and we sweep right around the outside.
And there are no plans for a safety car right now.
No idea what incident that's been. That might have caused a safety car. Perhaps Tsunoda? He seems to have dropped back massively. No idea what he's struggling with then. Oh, Bottas muscling his way past Fernando Alonso in this Grand Prix. Don't know if there was any contact there, but it seemed mighty feisty between the pair of them, and it might just give us some DRS. Lance Stroll has done a valiant effort in this Grand Prix up to this point. As Bottas dives in. I was going to say Stroll's about to lose the lead, but apparently not. Of course, if you guys watched our F1 2020 My Team career mode, you know Lance Stroll won his only ever Grand Prix in that series here at Circuit Paul Ricard. And the very last season we did, is he about to win another French Grand Prix?
The car behind has started to drop back. There's a gap beginning to form.
Right, come on then. Let's try and apply some pressure to Fernando Alonso in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. There are some big points at stake here, and look at that, we have got a good run on the Alpine driver. Of course, Alpine's home Grand Prix this weekend. A podium would be a mega result for them, but clean around the outside of Fernando Alonso we go. And that is just now us back up into P2 of the Grand Prix. Stroll now the only man between us and race victory, but surely we're not going to have enough to close it to the Aston. 6.5 laps to go here from Paul Ricard, and one of two men is going to win this race. It's either Lance Stroll in that Aston Martin, or it's Daniel Ricciardo behind us in that McLaren. He's taken about 2 seconds out of us over the last couple of laps. We've got yellow flags out though. Who is going to be falling to the wayside now in this Grand Prix? It's one of the Mercedes, I think. Who is that then? Is that Valtteri Bottas out of the French Grand Prix there? So heartbreak. Heartbreak for the Finn, who was looking so strong early on in this Grand Prix and nailed the strategy going on those mediums in qualifying there. He looked comfortably out in front until the safety car, and his day has just gone from great to bad to even worse. Oh, Alonso tried to have a look at the inside there, I think, through turn 5, but we'd certainly already committed to the corner. These tyres are nowhere what they used to be in this Grand Prix, and that might just leave him vulnerable to Daniel Ricciardo behind him. Is Ricciardo now going to be able to have a look for something? Here comes Danny, potentially for his first win for McLaren if he can complete this move. Obviously, we've got no DRS to defend ourselves with, but no, Alonso holds firm this time around. We've got another car falling to the wayside there. I think that's one of the Red Bulls. It's Verstappen. So two major championship hitters out of this Grand Prix there, and Hamilton is an incredibly lucky man today because he is going to pull out even more points in his already massive title advantage. 3 laps to go here from Circuit Paul Ricard. You can see there is an absolute train beginning to form behind us there. Alonso, Ricciardo and Leclerc all want a piece of the action, all want to get on the podium here. It's looking though for Lance Stroll like today might just be his day. Aston Martin, they've nailed the strategy. They were at the right place at the right time. Obviously not making it through into Q3 might have just done them this one here today, but for us we're just hanging on for dear life at the moment there. You can see how much the back end is complaining as well, that these tyres are all but shot, I think, at this stage of the day, but we just keep using the battery down the Mistral straight, and for now we're still holding on. Is Ricciardo going to get a run on Alonso? No, look at that, they're all just stuck in the DRS. None of them can do anything, so Alonso, as much as he wants to get past us, is basically being forced into being our rear gunner. What's happened to Fernando Alonso in this Grand Prix? How has he suddenly lost the place to Daniel Ricciardo here? But Ricciardo now is certainly going to be trying to apply the pressure to us late on in this Grand Prix. We've got 2 laps to go. Do we think we can hold on ahead of the McLaren? I'm not convinced. Oh, here comes Ricciardo. Nothing we're going to be able to do as we head down in towards turn 4. They're so late on the brakes. Fry, the McLaren man there, parks it on the apex through the second part. If we get some DRS, which we most definitely will, we might be able to try and come back at him there, but that McLaren seems absolutely planted at this stage of the Grand Prix. Are we going to get close enough with the DRS to go for something back though on the Australian? It's not what he wants here, but he's certainly not going to be able to get the win at this stage of the day. Back down the inside. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between myself and Daniel Ricciardo there. We both went for the same piece of real estate, and that might have both affected, it's definitely affected me.
Damage, but only a few laps left. If you can live with it, stay out.
He might have got away with that though, but that is going to affect us massively in the final lap of this Grand Prix. Ricciardo again sends it up the inside. We get punted from behind. Alonso's out of the Grand Prix. Hamilton now up at a P3. It's all drama at the end here at Paul Ricard. Can we hold on for one more lap at the very least? Try and score some points there. Heartbreak. Heartbreak for ourselves.
It looks like they're retiring.
But even more for Fernando Alonso here, as we've got one more lap to hold on. We're going to miss out on the podium thanks to Daniel Ricciardo there. I'm not too sure whether he went into me or I went into him, or whether it was just a bit of both. But so much damage on the car. Lando Norris now straight up into P5 of the Grand Prix as well there. But we need to hang on for points in this Grand Prix. We've got a very, very wounded car. Here comes Carlos Sainz as well. I don't know why the team are telling us they might make mistakes. We've got a huge chunk taken out of our front wing there. Sainz now up into 6th, but can we hold on? Tsunoda only a 2.5 seconds back. I cannot believe we've thrown that away right at the very end, battling it out with Daniel Ricciardo. I thought we could get the run back up the inside of the Australian there. As look at that, Tsunoda gets clean around the outside of us in towards the final sector of the lap though. It is going to be Lance Stroll, who with all this carnage going on behind him has almost taken away the fact that this is going to be his and Aston Martin's first race victory in Formula 1 there. A mega job done by the Canadian here today to walk home with the dub. Can we hold on from Sebastian Vettel through the final corners of this Grand Prix? We hang him out to dry through the final corner. It is still going to be our first points in Formula 1. Could have been P2, but it's only P8.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Aston Martin are really making waves in this sport, and what a special race it was to see them earn the top spot. So let's review the updated driver standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
But there's no question in my mind, it has to go to George Russell. What a performance. He's got every right to be proud of what he accomplished out there today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the French Grand Prix. And be honest with me, did you think that it would be Lance Stroll to end Mercedes' reign of terror early on this season? Now, the Canadian from 10th to 1st in the end, certainly my driver of the day when all is said and done there as well. Hamilton P2 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, so the Australian did lose out the one spot at the end there. Yeah, again, let me know down in the comments below whose fault you thought that was at the late stage of the Grand Prix there. Leclerc in 4th ahead of Norris, Sainz, Tsunoda, myself, Vettel, and Esteban Ocon there. We can be happy we got our first points on the board, but yeah, just gutted. It couldn't have been the podium that we'd wanted there throughout the Grand Prix. Lundgaard just misses out on his first Formula 1 points as well. That would have been a brilliant day out for the team in 11th. They're ahead of George Russell in P12. Then further down the order, you got Raikkonen and Pierre Gasly there. Perez, Latifi, Giovinazzi, Mazepin, Schumacher. Alonso does get classified. And yeah, Verstappen and Bottas both out as well. Means Hamilton's title lead is absolutely ginormous as we head in towards the next couple of Grand Prix here. Having a look at it, 57 points clear at this stage of the campaign. It's been a worldly of a start to the year for Lewis Hamilton there. Bottas, though, still P2. Norris hanging on down to P3. Overall, just 3 points ahead of Verstappen. Ricciardo up to 5th after, again, another really good race weekend for the Australian there. Tied now with Sergio Perez. Lance Stroll leapfrogs his way all the way up into 7th there ahead of Charles Leclerc, Alonso and Ocon. Sainz now up to 11th, tied with Gasly and ahead of Vettel with Tsunoda and myself moving up past Giovinazzi and George Russell. Lundgaard now the best of the non-point scorers there. Him, Raikkonen, Mazepin, Latifi and Schumacher still yet to score this year. Means constructors-wise, McLaren now 3 ahead of Red Bull there. 100 points though behind Mercedes. Aston Martin firmly up into P4. They're ahead of Ferrari and Alpine. And yeah, we move back up with that result up to 8th place once again there. Maybe, just maybe, we can challenge AlphaTauri if we continue on the good points form as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with round 7 of the year. We head to Austria. We've almost caught up real life Formula 1. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive, massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick and Chuan for being a member of the channel. If you guys want to help us out as well, obviously you can join for just £1 a month with some other exclusive perks by clicking the join button down below.